I've been a paying Webflow member for over 3 years. It's a platform I have really grown to love. I've really loved the designer. It's taught me so much. I've really enjoyed the community, but I found myself using it less and less in the last 3 years. And even so that I haven't used it much lately, and I've just deactivated my account on Webflow. And this is kind of an interesting moment, but I've seen Framer make so many strides, and I find myself using Framer. And I find myself using Cursor as well as Claude, which has been amazing to see how far it's come along in the last year. And I've seen that Webflow hasn't been making the strides that I think that they need to in order to stay on top of their game. I think that there's some things that need to change, especially for me to keep using it. And so I understand that my use case, the things that I would love to see Webflow do, may not be what everybody else is wanting Webflow to do, but I still think that they are worth noting, and I want to talk about them here. So I've used Webflow for websites, but I've also used it for a lot of other things. I've been building out UIs and dashboards and things like that from Webflow because I just really enjoy the tool. I go from Figma, I build it out inside of Webflow, and then I export the code, and then I convert it into React, and I take it to AI beyond there. And this process has worked, and it's actually been not a bad workflow, but it is really slow and tedious, and I just think that there's better options out there. I'm someone that I have a pretty particular taste in my mind for how I want the UI to look, how I want it to feel, and I want that full control of the design. That's something that I want to own. I don't want AI to just have its go at it, and there's aspects and elements that, as someone who loves to create, who loves to build, I want that control. I want to be the one in charge of that. I lose so much of that joy of building things if I don't get that. But there's so much of the logic and the back end stuff that I have tried learning. I've really tried, and I have just not enjoyed it. I want to be able to spend time doing what I enjoy doing when I'm building out software or when I'm building out a website. And I don't want to be limited because of things that are holding me back. This workflow that I've done in the past, like with this large multi-step form that I did, it's like 50 pages or so. I've got a bunch of custom code in here, over like 1,000 lines. There's some CSS in here. Mostly it's all JavaScript to help the logic. And I was able to get this multi-step form working within here, inside of Webflow. I just needed to be able to connect it to a backend. I needed to, add it to the dashboard that I had also built. And I wasn't able to do that inside of Webflow because Webflow just doesn't give me that capabilities. And so that's really what I'd love to see is I'd love to see Webflow open this up to more than just websites. And maybe Webflow knows that they should stay inside of their lane because we might be in a fad where everybody wants to build software and everybody wants to build their own app. But I think that there's so many people that would benefit, people who have UI, UX backgrounds that understand what it takes to build a good app that's built by a human and leverages AI. And Webflow allows you to build great UI and great UX. Before you say, oh, there's actually a tool out there called Wiz that can use this. I've used Wiz, and I just I was not able to use it. Like, Wiz actually slowed me down because it's too technical. It's not a no-code app, it's a low-code app. And they're very upfront and transparent about that. That kind of stuff just really drains my progress when I'm building out something. And I've never fully seen an app built on Wiz be very polished. Like I've found some errors with it. It just feels like it's a layer of duct tape over. Like you're trying to duct tape two things together and it just doesn't want to fully commit. What's really important for me is anything that I build, I want it to be structurally sound. And for me to go on a web app that was built with Wiz and already see the cracks and see how there's a lot of content flashing and a lot of things like that, it just feels like you have to kind of hack to make it work. I didn't want to use that. So one of the main wishes that I would have is to have more options with my stack that I'm building, like my tech stack. I would love to see them open this up to React, or when you create a new project, it gives you the option. Do you want to build this with HTML? Do you want to build this with React? Next.js, just giving you some different choices so that they could pander to people like me that love to build on Webflow. I'm willing to pay, right? I'm paying to use the designer, but then to export that code, take it somewhere else, go from there, and not have to do this conversion process like I've done with this. That would be awesome if that could be a possibility. The other thing that I think would be amazing is if they could better combine the worlds of vibe coding and personal touch. I'm sure that they would also like to do this. I understand that they're probably trying to figure this out. Like they're coming out with type of vibe coding options within Webflow, but it's all like still prompt based. Like you can't prompt, it doesn't build a website, and then you can't edit it like you would normally inside of Webflow. Instead, they're kind of like these two separate things. But it just feels like it's not fully formed or committed. So I would like to see Webflow do something there. And I think that just to have them connect better with AI models. Like when I built out this, I had to have AI help me write all the code, and then I would paste it in the custom code field. Inside of my page settings, this is where all of the code is. I would paste it, I would test it myself. If it wasn't working, I'd have to, go back and forth with AI, a lot of console logs, a lot of stuff like that. And it was just really slow. And there's so many better ways of going about this now. If Claude could just like live inside of Webflow better, I think that this would be so much faster to get here, because I still really like using it, but I'm just finding that it's a really slow process. It's not very fast. If Webflow was willing to take their designer, but make it more accessible to all types of UI, both web, both application. Webflow is still the most powerful web building tool out there, but I can build 90% of what I can in Webflow on Framer, and I can do it 50% faster. To me, I think that the future is 80% is probably going to be done with AI, and that 20% is what's really going to set people apart. Because some people are going to try to go 1 to 100% with AI. I think those people are not going to be as successful, because I think AI can only take you so far. But those people that utilize that last 20 to 10% of that manual touches that just give it that chef's kiss, I think those people are going to rise to the top. They're going to be really successful. I think there's no better tool for that last 20 to 10% when it comes to like a visual building platform than Webflow is, because Webflow has that, pixel perfect, better than anybody else. I love to see them try to execute on that. So anyways, those are just some of my thoughts with Webflow. I'd love to see them allow their websites to be built using React rather than static HTML. I'd love to see them open up more for software building rather than just websites, marketing sites. And I would love them to also add API keys natively within Webflow, not having to use something like Wiz. Sure, you can add API keys, but not very securely on Webflow. So I'd like to just have some of these features natively built within Webflow that work really well and are really sound. Yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you've found it helpful and insightful. Let me know your thoughts on the state of Webflow and where it's at. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Cheers.